Magandang hapon po, Pilipinas. And welcome back. We're so glad to be back on the air finally. Eric Tipan, Cap Maceda Aguila, and Nana Nadal. Ito po ang Gearbox. First time back on sa Himpapawid ng Metro Manila via Radyo Pilipinas 1738 AM. Guys, kumusta na? Finally, we're back on the air and also live on Facebook para sa mga gustong mapanood tayo. Paano ba yun, Cap?
Uy, kumusta na? Ito, part of adjusting to the new normal, I suppose, no? Our very first virtual radio show na naka-live na tayo sa wakas sa Radyo Pilipinas at na-miss po namin kayo ang lahat na nakikinig po sa amin and we hope ganun din, that the feeling is mutual at ayan po, sana po ay from now on ay makikita nyo na po kami live, matutungayan nyo na po ang mga ka-gearbox nyo live.
We are back not only on Facebook but also on Radyo Pilipinas 738 AM, di ba? Medyo nakakakaba. Parang biglang ako kinabahan kanina. Pero I think more than anything, kinakabahan ako dun sa itong ang technology, kung magkakarinigan ba, kung ano. But so far, so good. And we have an exciting episode, no? So yung mga nakikinig sa atin sa radyo, pwede tayong mapanood sa Facebook, no? Gearbox RP1. Meron din kaming account sa Instagram. That's at Gearbox On Air. I-follow nyo kami para ma-update namin kayo kung ano ang aming mga fini-feature sa episodes.
Well, para po sa mga nakikinig sa radyo, no, and you're hearing us for the first time mula nung March, yun nga po, kaya po iba-iba yung sound namin. We're broadcasting from different locations. Virtual show po tayo ngayon because we're trying to participate with the government's GCQ, as much as possible. If we can do the show online, igagawin po namin para hindi na makadagdag sa mga lumalabas sa lansangan ngayon at maiwasan na rin na madagdagan pa yung mga infected or mga cases of COVID-19 dito sa packed show para sa inyong lahat. Two guests today. Very interesting because pag-uusapan natin health and fitness in both ways. I mean, how you can do it at home and then how you can secure your mga equipment kung gusto niyo mag-exercise sa bahay. So we're gonna talk yoga, we're gonna talk about sports equipment all throughout the show today. Try to bring in our first guest of the show today. At kahit virtual po kami, susunduin muna ni Cap at ni Nana yung ating guest, and we're gonna talk to her. It's gonna be also hindi lang siya, it's not just virtual locally but virtual internationally because we're gonna be talking to Maricar Holopainen, who is currently managing her yoga studio from New Zealand. So very interesting to find out how she's doing that and how the business is coping with the situation. Obviously, marami tayong nadidinig na people are struggling to get their business going because they can't open up physically. Kaya ito maganda malaman kung how you can participate if you want to learn yoga, how you can participate and still get the full benefits of the class despite the fact that you're not in the studio. Okay? And also yung mga nagbabalak din na may mga maliliit na negosyo, maybe you can get tips from Maricar on how she handles the business remotely and what's the future of small to medium business enterprises, especially now that wala pa pong we don't see in the next 12 to 24 months na magkakaroon ng vaccine, how we're gonna evolve, how we're gonna move around and continue with our lives despite the fact that yun nga wala po tayong it's not the same normal. You hear the term new normal a lot. Obviously hindi pa po tayo sanay sa mga nangyayari, so that's gonna be interesting to find out with Maricar later. If you have any questions, just put it in sa ating Facebook po, Gearbox RP1 on Facebook. You can send us a message. We are live right now and we'll ask your messages kung paano nyo i-handle if you have issues with mental health right now or cabin fever dahil nasa bahay lang po kayo, stuck at home for the past few months. And I think we're getting ready to bring our guest in. Nasundo na ni Cap and ni Nana We're just fixing our graphics here. But it's going to be interesting discussion to find out how each and everyone can maintain some level of sanity and physical fitness in the time of COVID-19. We're back live on the air on Facebook and on Radyo Pilipinas 738, and we have our guest on the show live from New Zealand, Maricar Holopainen. Maricar, welcome, and you're joining us with Cap Maceda Aguila and Nana Nadal.
Hi, thank you, Eric. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hi, Maricar.
Hi, hello, good evening.
Pleasure to have you on a different show. We've spoken several times before about your yoga studio. I already mentioned to the audience that you are managing Urban Ashram Yoga from New Zealand. Now, how has the transition been from going physical to online classes?
I think when the pandemic struck, which was I think as early as February, we already had to plan ahead. I think one of the things is we've had the foresight to see potentially what the risks are. And we've always been in touch with the community and understand, how are we going to keep people engaged, especially in the pandemic. So as early as February, we were already thinking of different options. What are the different things that we can do to ensure that, especially in a pandemic where there's a lot of fear and negativity, how we could do that. So as early as February and towards March, we had already planned the virtual studio, because the key thing is that there's a lot of people that are relying on the practice. This is their lifeline to health. And so as early as then, we had thought that, one of the best ways to do it is to go virtual. And that really allows us to access a larger community, which then expanded so much. So nung nagsara yung studio nung March, kasi kami yung nauna our Brixton studio, there was a case in the building, and immediately we shut down the following day. And we're here to our tagline is live better lives, and obviously the lives of our staff, our teachers, and our students were of primary concern. So we immediately closed, and soon after our second studio in BGC closed. And within 2 weeks, we were up virtually. Within those 2 weeks, I'm really grateful to our teachers. Our teachers were generously recording their classes. They're not one to self-promote, and they're very shy. But they recognize that this is what people need. So I believe we had as early as end of March, we started posting about 14 videos of our own recorded classes. And then on April 15, we were one of the first studios that went online. And we had 30 classes, which is representative of what the studio has, up on April 15. So I guess in a way, it's really that ability to look positively, that there is something you can do. And that's what we always, were about. What can you do given a situation? So, so it was smooth, and we wouldn't have been able to do it if the teachers weren't generous with their opportunity to teach and share, but also our staff, who really, really kept our students in contact. And that's why, we continue to serve them today virtually, and we're very happy about that.
Guys, you want to jump in here?
Oh, yeah, hi.
How many classes a day? Sorry. Sige, go ahead, Cap.
Ladies first.
Okay. So now, how many classes a day do you teach?
Well, we have 4 classes a day. So it mimics what a physical studio would have. So we have 4 classes, one early in the morning at 7, and then we have a 9 or a 10. And then we have towards the mid of the day, about 4 o'clock. and then an evening class. So it really caters to the schedules of the community.
And this is every day, Monday to Sunday? Or...
Yeah. Monday to Sunday. Yeah. Every day, people need it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
More than ever, no, now.
Yes.
Tap, your turn.
Maricar, you mentioned earlier that, of course, even on lockdown, or perhaps even more now that we're on lockdown, people need to look after themselves in terms of their physical health and even their mental health. I'm a total newbie. Actually, I haven't even tried yoga. So maybe for those of us who aren't familiar with it, can you explain like what the benefits are for people who want to practice yoga, and probably how it can help them, particularly during this time that people are anxious at home. They can't go anywhere else.
Yes. Well, there's a real issue with the way media projects yogis, because they look like contortionists. And when we started the studio almost 10 years ago, Eric, we're turning 10 in August. So you've been with us for 10 years. And 90% of the students who came in our open house classes have never practiced yoga before. So it was purely curiosity. From my experience, I came to yoga, and my husband too, because of severe chronic back pain. I suffer from scoliosis, and my husband had a spinal injury. So we came there because we wanted to take control of our health, and we've read online of all these benefits, and all the other modalities didn't seem to work for us, and especially we didn't want to do medication. So for some people, they came because of pain, which is a pressing need. Some people because they wanted to do something else that was not too intensely physical, that could injure them. And for the others, I think they were really, really looking for peace, for really to quiet their mind. And that's really the benefit of the practice. So if you're in pain, you need to move your body and understand your body more, and understand and take control, discover your own body and understand where that pain's from. So that's a benefit. The second benefit is, with all this fear and anxiety and depression, you need to manage your mind and your mindset. And we do know that positivity does change outcomes. When you're around happy people, you get happier. And the benefits, I can tell you. I mean, if I could tell people what to do in their younger years, is to learn yoga, because it's a practice that you can keep in your pocket and take with you anywhere. And so our job was to demystify the yoga practice and really let people know that this is an age-old tradition that's been around, but it's been commercialized because it needed to spread. And so I started at 36. I'm now 49, and I can tell you that that's why we do kids yoga, to start them young so they can manage and have tools to deal with the stresses of life. So that's why we still do it.
Is it
Well,
for
now that
everyone?
we have you
Can
talking
anyone
about
get into
positivity,
yoga?
Maricar, you mentioned that you have this challenge going on with Lazada. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah. Well, Cap had a question first. He actually said, "Is it for everybody?" Someone said, and when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I truly think that if you seek it, it's there. And we never force anyone to yoga, but we really advocate. So we started with a class called Flexibility Not Required, and then now we have Yoga ABC. We have Stress-Free Gentle Flow. So even the names of our classes are catered so that people can come and take them. And our teachers are diligently trained to make sure that what the benefits are to them are reflected in their teachings. So, which is why when Eric said that we're doing the 21-day positivity habit, we thought to ourselves, how can we help in this day and age? How can we, through the virtual platform, communicate that we can change outcomes by being positive? And so we're very grateful that Lazada, which is a very, very big platform, and when people are depressed, they shop. They want to have an immediate gratification of some form of joy. And so we thought that this would be the best platform, and we're so grateful to Lazada for giving us 21 days to do this. And so every morning, starting June 13, the long weekend, our teachers have volunteered to come and teach between 9 to 9:30, a 21-day habit. And tomorrow, June 5 and June 6, we have a teaser class. So you can actually see tomorrow, you just download the Lazada app. And I can tell you, I took the class today. Of course, I'm biased, but you can see how happy I am. It's carried me through the day. And we have to remember that the energy we have is enervated or is released to others too, the people within our around us. So I think it's a nice thing to do, and I think it's a necessary thing to do at this age.
Thank you.
Now, you mentioned earlier you had 30 classes a day. Is that the case every day?
4.
It's 30 classes a week. So it's 30 classes a week, and it's 4 classes a day. And there are some days that have more classes because we're trying to now, you know, the nice thing about the virtual platform is that it's a new algorithm. And so, you know, like the GCQ happened, we saw attendance drop on a Monday, but it's picked back up on a Wednesday. So we can now determine based on data and feedback from our students what are the appropriate times that they practice. And because we're so in touch with our community, we can shift our classes to what is beneficial to their time. So we will adjust to what the society needs. And that's our commitment.
Like yoga, the studio is also flexible.
We have to be.
Yeah. I've also never tried yoga.
Yes.
And now, you know, there's a big opportunity for me to do it because of all these virtual classes. But my hesitation is from without a teacher with me, I might hurt myself, you know. How will the teacher be able to correct my form? Because since I've never tried it, I really don't know the basics. I don't know what to watch out for.
Yes.
How would you address that?
That's a very, very valid concern. And I recognize that that may seem like a limitation in the, in a virtual space. But there's a couple of ways by which we overcome these obstacles. So the first thing is that we ensure that the class that you attend is really truly for your level. So every day we have a yoga ABC class. And the teachers that continue to teach that are the teachers who've taught it for 10 years. So these are classes that are specifically designed for beginners. And we truly believe in safe and progressive practices. So it's really safety. And so the quality of the instruction is necessary. You know, we're very, very particular about the teachers we choose. So they demo, but the instructions have to be so concise, so descriptive, that even with your eyes closed, you can get it. And then you learn anatomy. You know, you learn your left hand from your right knee, your right shoulder from your left ankle. So there's that sense of understanding of your body from the center. And then our teachers, that's why I think Eric's question when he emailed me is, why do you limit the number of students? It's precisely so we can look at you and we can tell you you're doing good. You know, maybe widen your stance a little bit. Maybe narrow your stance a little bit. You know, bring your knees down so you're not straining your shoulders. So the last thing we want to do is turn people off by injuring them. And that's why we're so particular about the quality of instruction and the nurturing approach of our teachers. And of course, the type of classes that you take.
Okay. Maricar, I have a question about everyone's talking about the new normal and how businesses are evolving in this new normal. Can we talk about that side of your of the business? Like, how do you see of course, you said you established a virtual studio. How else, I mean, how is the business model evolving for you guys? Like, in terms of course, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a business and you guys have to make money, your teachers have to make money. Are you gonna be like going full digital now? What's the future like for your studios? I mean, your physical studios. And how long do you think we're gonna have to go through this norm? Sorry, lots of questions.
No. I get you. I ask myself those questions every single day. So it's a necessary question to ask. The business for us has always been ethical. It's always been for the benefit of the community. And that's why until this day, we still pay the teachers the same rate that we paid them in the classes, because we recognize that there is a fine balance between lives and livelihood. People need to live to survive and earn economically, and yet they also have this desire to serve. So that's the fine balance we as management have to do. We're very lucky that we've had a very good relationship with our landlords. So our landlords have been so kind to allow us to just stop for this moment in time. Should it reopen, then we can have an open discussion, because we've been very, very good and helpful tenants. In fact, in both buildings we were at, we're the first tenants in that building. So there was already that goodwill. The virtual platform is fascinating because basically you're paying people now. You're not paying space. And that's good, because the money goes to people. And so what it is, it's a fine balance we have to play. So that's why, despite the fact that we've had 30 classes a week to mimic what a studio would be, we've had to really engage our current members and say, please shift your practice online. Please help us get it off the ground. So it really matters that your community will support you. The second is our teachers also continue to teach really good classes. So word of mouth is the best way to spread the word. And third is, partners like yourselves, Lazada, the guys who are giving us the opportunity to share and give us a channel to communicate are helping us. So I find that the business model now is truly one of collaboration, where people help out. So when your question is, how long will this last? I just had a town hall meeting with our entire studio, and we said that we will be one of the last to open, because we want to make sure that there is a proper vaccine that is safe, so that you don't want your teacher to be the one who's reflecting fear. That energy is passed on. You want her to come there with confidence and say, we're going to be safe and fine. So I think that we've made a good go for this platform. And now that, because it's borderless, you can imagine how many Filipinos we can. So our time schedules are actually matched to that of other countries. So we're now representing 9 countries. We've got Austria, Germany, the US, New Zealand, Australia, Russia, and then we're now in Iloilo, in Baguio. Last night I saw someone buy a pass from Germany again, and they're all Filipinos. So it's I think people should really consider that this pandemic also has its positive side.
Yeah.
And if you really just look for opportunities and really run your numbers well, it can be highly successful. And that's what we're hoping to continue this for as long as we can virtually until it's safe to go back.
Exactly. Nice.
I'm starting to get really interested. What are the classes that you offer? You mentioned some interesting titles earlier.
Yes. Well, we're classically trained in Hatha. Hatha is the classical yoga, which really dates back in tradition. But a lot of the classical practices that we have are Western-based science. Because, it's very different when you talk about spirituality, when the mind doesn't understand spirituality. So you have to be able to address the rationality and the logic of the mind. And that's why we're very, very trained in Western science in terms of biomechanics, anatomy, the right cues, instructions. And that is very easy for the body and the mind to understand. And the spirituality comes from the teacher, their own personal beliefs and their philosophy. So that's really where we're at in terms of how we're educating our base for that. Yes.
And then what are these classes you mentioned?
Oh, yes. So, yeah.
What is it?
Okay, so what we've done is from the beginning of Urban Ashram, we always wanted the newbies. We always wanted the people who've never done it before. I think we were always up for a challenge. You're new, you graduated for your teacher training and you're like, we're gonna, convert people into this practice because it's done well for us. And so we basically, Yoga ABC teaches you the fundamentals so that you can progress into a flow class, which is called Vinyasa. And then from that, within that, we have FNR, which is flexibility not required, which is really a strong beginner's foundation practice. And then we progress into levels. But we also have stress-free gentle flow. We have restorative, which is like you're lying down on pillows so you can relax. And there's a scientific explanation to that. It's to evoke the relaxation response, the parasympathetic nervous system, so that you can heal. And that's heat, and that's what people need too. And then we have Kundalini, which is a practice targeted for the nervous system. We have kids yoga. We have prenatal yoga. And now we also introduced bar and Pilates, which are
Also
fitness mode. Yes. Because some people don't want to do yoga, and we respect that. But they have to move, And so we were not going to be discriminating with what modalities, but we did test all those modalities and we practice it ourselves. That's the only reason we would curate it and put it in the platform.
So many choices.
Maricar's talking about all these classes brings back memories. But one thing I remember is I never got out of the beginner class. I've always been Yoga ABC, FNR. I've always been stuck there. I've never ever leveled up. But for people, Maricar, who interested, tulad ni Nana, she's her interest is peaked. How do they join a virtual class now?
Oh, we're on Lazada. There's a sale at midnight tonight. So I'm telling you, we're down to 199 pesos per class. And our 7-day yoga, 5-day pass is down to 699 from 999, or 669 from 999.
That comes out to less than 200. Yeah,
a day. Yeah, and you can take 3 classes a day if you want, because it's a 1-day fast. But so you basically just go on Lazada, or you can come direct to our website, and then once you and then a link will be sent to you to attend the class, and it's via Zoom. So it's the same platform that most people use, and you can choose to either hide yourself in video or show yourself if you want. So the choice is always yours. And then at the end of the class, you get access to the recorded class. So if you really, really like that class, then you can actually practice it again or listen to it and learn again. So it's really a class. It's not a fitness workout. We treat it like a school. So Eric's been going to beginner school, but I'm sure that repetitive habit. And it's a beginner's mindset, which is the best because you're so open. That's the best mindset, where you're curious. You don't have any preconceived notions,
That's right. And I've got to be honest, these forms that you guys passed on to me, these repetitive classes really taught me a lot about, especially it translates to when you work out, when you're lifting weights, you get to learn about your body and how it moves because of attending the yoga classes, so Urban Ashram Yoga.
Yes. And we're grateful because a lot of these beginners have become our teachers. I would say maybe 80% of our teachers started practicing with us. So it's a testament to the practice. It's a testament to the training that we have. And it's a testament to the engagement with the community that people still choose to teach until this day. That means it's doing good for them, So, yeah.
You have this work wellness program, is that correct?
Yes.
Did I get the name right?
Yes.
Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, I think the nice thing about this time is you can see the compassion that management and companies have for their employees. And that's the Filipino trait. That's why I really truly believe that the Filipino genetic makeup is truly going to survive all of this, because we have all this survival instincts within us and compassion for each other. So a lot of the companies have come to us, and a lot of them are students they're CEOs of companies, and they come to us and say, can you please put together a program for us? So we're running a number of corporate programs right now, and what they do is they do 30 minutes in the morning, or sometimes 45 minutes in the morning, and then an evening class. And they generously give this to their employees for free. And we also give a very, very special rate because we recognize it's a time that's also economic need. So work wellness basically is that we start with a meditation in the morning together with a movement practice. We teach them posture because they'll be seated all day. We teach them classes that are seated so that even when you're in your chair, you can move.
Oh, nice.
And then, and then in the evening, you have also then a cool down, which is basically at the end of the day, you're reaffirming what you've done in the morning, but it's a cool down so that the stresses and the jarring of the commute home or the commute to your bed from your desk chair becomes a journey to rest. So, our sequences are very well thought out. They're not just random sequences you can download from the internet, and that's why the corporate classes are taught by the same teachers so that they have this constant engagement and there's a constant thing. So we look forward to more corporates really working with us because it's doing well. We've done it for 45 days now, and the corporates keep renewing because I guess they see the benefits, to their employees. Yeah.
So you tailor the program to each company?
Well, we always have a session with our HR, and we always have a sample class, and then we get feedback. I mean, we want to set ourselves up for success. This is like Cap said earlier, how does it become a business? We are an ethical business. You're only as good as the benefits received. So that's really our ethos is, we will make economic gain if our product is solid and helpful in this time because clients are discerning, They're not just going to pay for something because it's just for the heck of doing it. They want value, They want value talaga. And value is how the employees feel.
Maricar, can you give us a sense of how virtual class would look like? Of course, the minimum would probably, of course, one has to have internet connection.
Yes.
Do you hold your classes using Zoom or something? And then how big is a class, this the usual class like? And you mentioned earlier also that the participant has the option if he or she wants to be seen or not, right? Like how does it run? Mm-hmm. Give us a sense of how.
So you're going to log into Zoom. We ideally ask you to come 10 or 15 minutes before. And that way you can have a chat with the teacher if you want. So when you come in, we replicated the entire physical studio in the virtual space. When you enter Urban Ashram, there's a SAM, Studio Assistant Manager, that comes and greets you, gives you a briefing, leads you to the room, opens the room, introduces you to the teacher, asks you if you're new or not, and then tells the teacher, "Oy, bago yan," at saka may scoliosis. So that's what we do. So that's why we ask newbies to come early. It's really so we are briefed. And they're welcomed by the SAM, which is the same SAMs they see in the studio, who are running it now. And then we introduce, good afternoon and all that, and then it's turned over to the teacher in punto on time, at 9 o'clock or whatever the time is. And then the sessions are done, and then our SAM is our tech support. So if you dropped off and wanted to enter class, if you couldn't log into Zoom, there's always a tech support. So we're replicating the physical studio experience in the virtual atmosphere. And then at the end of the class, if you wanted to stay, the teacher stays behind for another 15 minutes. And I teach yoga for better sleep. Oh, that's the other thing pala. I teach yoga for better sleep, yoga for back pain. I just did a yoga for posture. And on Monday, I'm teaching yoga for seniors, for active... so we have special classes, and then there are these special classes which we put in on different times and different So my husband Lasse taught yoga philosophy and the breath and energy. He used to be with the Department of Energy, and now he's with the Department of Human Energy. So, he's my pranayama teacher. So there is breath work. So if you don't want to do the physical yoga class, you start with the breath work. And you know that breathing is your source of energy, right? I mean, it really is. So that for me is probably where we would start hesitant students to come. And
So
then, yes.
there's no minimum level of fitness that's required. Because I know Eric is like the peak of siya yung aming
Super fit.
Oh, you should have seen me in my classes with Maricar, with Lasse, and the others. I will not be the most fit and flexible person there.
It's all in your mind. It truly is. So, well, I think it's important that the briefing is done, that you are asked all the questions you want, and they are addressed. You know, and if you're not comfortable, no one will force you. You're ultimately in your own control. But I can tell you, after 10 years of running the studio, that it has been a positive experience. And I can tell you today that every time I come into the mat, it's always hard. Should I just watch Netflix or should I go and practice yoga? And I can tell you every single time I leave my mat after class, it's always better. And that's why we're still doing this. I mean, and that's why I don't have back pain and I have scoliosis. And that's why I'm still happy even if things are not. So, and that's why our teachers still teach. And that's why our SAMs are still there welcoming students. It's infectious. That's what I can say. It's highly infectious. Just as negativity is infectious, in a good way. It's always in a good way. That's why you need good teachers. Because I can tell you that if your teachers medyo sablay, then it didn't do justice to the practice, you know? So choose your teachers. That's what we always say. And you'll find one. That's why when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
You said it's infectious. I'm already getting infected and getting really interested. So, for example, I joined the beginner's class and other classes, yoga for sleeping well, you mentioned. That's something I'm really interested in.
Yes.
And then you also said that a lot of your teachers were your students originally.
Yes,
So you teach them to become teachers? How is that? Is there a training program for them?
Yes. We have run our 12th yoga teacher training program. It's the same teacher training program that I studied in. It's called Yoga Works. It's a 35-year-old proven teacher training program. And even if we could do it ourselves, you know, make the money ourselves, we still choose that program. And I'm very proud to say that my classmate, JP Cox, who was my classmate in 2011, is now the first Filipino international trainer of Yoga Works. So she will now lead her own teacher trainings in the Philippines. And the last graduate, you know, our SAMs are teachers too. You know, Jackie, who's running it, she just finished the program. And incidentally, that program was cut because we were, half the time they did it before the pandemic, and then the pandemic struck. But they continued the remaining 92 hours online, and they graduated online. And I can tell you that it was a benefit because now they can teach online. Imagine that you think it's malas, diba? Kasi I lost physical teaching, but they now know how to teach online. So we have a teacher training program. We haven't launched it this year yet because we want to make sure there's an aspect of the program that will have a physical part. So we're just waiting for that, but we're ready. So yes, we bring in the best teachers to train our teachers. And we also have faculty workshops. I think we're one of the only studios who brought in international yoga teachers from the West to educate us. So a lot of our trainings were investments. They were not money-making things. They were really to invest in the quality of education. And that's why we run a yoga school. You know, Urban Ashram is actually a school of yoga. Yeah, so maybe someday you'll become a teacher and Eric will
I
be
know.
still your beginner student.
Long-term planning na ako right? I'm gonna enroll in the beginners class, enroll in all the other classes, and maybe become a teacher.
So
I can tell you, I can tell you that I when I went to New Zealand, I'm a marketing major and I have degrees, but the job that I got was a yoga teacher, and because it's a transportable skill. You can go anywhere in the world. And it's a service too. So I encourage people, especially now with the virtual platform, if you're aligned with a very good platform, you can totally make it a career,
Right.
So you can serve and you can have your vocation and have a career.
Sold.
Well, if they wanna attend a class, wanna be a teacher, how can they get access to the information, Maricar, to learn more about Urban Ashram and your services?
Yes, so we are very active on Facebook and Instagram, and we have Instagram stories and IGTV. So come look at Urban Ashram Yoga. Urban Ashram means a place of study where you go off into the mountains and find refuge and study. So we wanted to make an urban place to study. So urbanashramyoga.com. Our Facebook is Urban Ashram Yoga. Our Instagram is Urban Ashram Yoga. And we're also on Lazada. And there's a number of channels that also support us, but it's all on our website. We have a very active YouTube channel. So if you don't want to come to our Zoom class, go to YouTube under Urban Ashram Yoga. And we have about 20 classes that are recorded, all our type of classes. So you can actually discern for yourself and see, kaya ko ba to or gusto ko bang gawin? You can try it at your own time. And that's why we do that. So we put these free classes there so that you can test it. And you can message us anytime because we get so excited when people want to learn it,
I'm excited.
Yeah, and you'll feel better. I think ultimately what you want to do is feel better to be better,
You had me at back pain.
Yes. And we just ran that entire thing, and we send you the recorded class, so you can keep taking that class over and over. But I'd like to really focus on the 21-day positivity habit. I think that would be a good way for anyone to start. Try it out tomorrow on Lazada at 9 a.m. Download the app. It's actually quite an interesting platform. It's fascinating. There's like so many viewers, and you're learning yoga online on your phone. And so tomorrow, June 5, 9 a.m., it will be Sky Yang. And then on Saturday, June 6, it will be Bo Valdez. And that will give you a sense of what to expect on June 13 onwards. And they will be saved on the Lazada app so that if you miss it in the morning, you can do it in the lunchtime or in the evening. Or if you drop off a day, then we'll load it on our website so you can still continue. So, and Cap, back to your question, that's the beauty of virtual. It's really borderless, Yeah.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, check it out, urbanashramyoga.com. Be fit, be healthy, be happy. Thank you very much, Maricar, Holopainen. My best to Lasa and the family. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you
Thanks,
for
guys.
being on the show.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'll make sure you're gonna come to class, okay?
I promise.
We will.
I promise. I'll bring these two along as well.
Yes.
So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And you'll see Eric there. You'll see Eric and Jing.
Oh.
Oy, nice.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you again
Thank
very
you
much,
so
Maricar
much.
Holopainen,
Thank
for
you,
being
thank
on
you,
Gearbox
thank you.
today. Our pleasure having you.